Hello, good evening. Welcome, Siza. Thank you for being here. And I would like to welcome everybody who is going to be joining us. So my name is Maytha Fox.
I can't hear you, Maytha.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay.
I can't hear you, Maytha.
Can you hear me now? Okay, let me. Actually, things seems fine on my end. You can still hear me? All right, we are just having some technical issues. So bear with us. Hello, Caesar, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, everything looks okay on my end. Okay, yeah, we were doing some test runs earlier on and we were just having issues with the network. So I'm hoping Caesar is going to be coming back soon because she's got amazing things to share with us. All right, so while I'm waiting for her, I will just introduce myself. If this is your first time to come on this show, welcome. And if this is not your first time, thank you and welcome back. My name is Maytha Fox. I'm an independent beauty and health consultant. And the name of this show is called Inner and Outer Beauty. The reason why I wanted to call this show Inner and Outer Beauty is growing up, I always thought outer beauty, there was only outer beauty, that it was the most important thing in the world. But growing up, I realized inner beauty is equally very important. So when we have inner beauty, we are able to do things that will impact other people's lives because you cannot give what you don't have. So if your inner beauty begins to show on the outside, you are able to change people's lives. That's why I'm so passionate about this show. I get to invite some amazing speakers. They get to share their stories. They get to share why they are doing what they are doing. They get to share where it all began. So this is a really interesting place. I'm always inviting guests to come on Tuesday nights, 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time or 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So let me just check with my beautiful guest here. Okay, she's still trying to come in. So Siza, she lives in Montreal. She is an amazing fashion designer. She is a writer. And today, while we were just doing a test run, I realized something about her I did not know. So I'm excited for her to come and share. I don't want to empty what she has to share. So while I'm waiting for her, I just wanted to share with you my great news. I've just finished writing my book called From Pain to Victory. I was hoping by now it should be already out, but we are just facing a little bit of delays. But you know what? The best comes to those who wait. So while I'm waiting for Caesar, I might as well talk about the book. So this book, From Pain to Victory, subtitled Delicious Alkaline Food Helped Me to Restore My Gut Health Issues. So that book, I get to share my story. There are many years of struggling with health issues, not knowing what it was, and finally finding the solution after years and years. So that's what I share in that book. And I also share the delicious alkaline recipes I have been implementing that has really helped me to really heal my digestive system. These are just simple food. So when we talk about inner beauty, for me, what I'm most passionate about is what are you putting inside your body? What are you drinking every day? What are you eating? Is what you are eating or drinking nourishing your body, or it's actually causing a lot of harm? So that's my message. So I'm really excited. And besides the inner beauty, I've been in the outer beauty profession for the past 15 years, and my focus is usually women. I love building other women's confidence. And I know when a woman is feeling and looking great, she can do amazing things. She can move mountains. She can do whatever she sets her out to do. Like the possibilities are so endless. Okay, so that's why I love inner and outer beauty, because it just shows us the whole person, the whole person. And what I find is happy people are pleasant to be around. Happy people have the ability to just lift other people up. They have the ability to inspire and to encourage. You want to be around them all the time, because every time you are around them, they will leave you feeling much better than they found you, because they love to see everybody aspiring and achieving all the big things they want to achieve. So when I talk about outer beauty, working 15 years with women, as women and men too, we all go through some really difficult times. Sometimes, if there's nobody on our corner to lift us up, sometimes it's easy to break down and just give up on life. So I've seen people come to my studio, people who are like, they are just not happy. They are just not happy. But what I found is, when you meet people and they are in a place whereby life is not going very well, they feel like hope is gone. It's our job to be there. Sometimes just a smile can cheer somebody else. Just smiling at somebody. So what I love with what I do is, sometimes when we really don't know how to take care of ourselves and we don't even know where to start, sometimes you are being told while you were growing up that you are nothing, that you are ugly, that you can never amount to anything. That can really beat down on your self-esteem. That can really beat down on your self-esteem. And for some women, they've never been given a compliment by their husband. All they hear are the negative words. Even for men too, sometimes they haven't had a compliment from their woman. And that can really crush people's self-esteem and confidence. So what I love with what I do is, when women come, then I teach them self-care, because I teach women self-care. So when I talk about self-care, just teaching people the daily routine. When I talk about a daily routine, I'm talking about of skincare. I remember when I was growing up, sometimes if you have blemishes or you have like pimples, and you look at yourself in the mirror and your skin is just not looking okay. And the worst thing is, I used to struggle with that personally. When I go to, back home, we used to here we call it downtown, but back home we call it I'm going to town. Do you know in town they have, like, in public places, like if you go to the bathroom, you always see these mirrors and you get to see yourself. And then you get to see somebody next to you and you're looking at their skin. Their skin is so healthy, fresh, young, and the skin is just glowing. And then you start comparing. So for me, oh, Siza is here. Okay, welcome, welcome. I will just finish up what I was saying and then I'll let you take over. So for me, I found the comparison, looking at other girls' skin, and I'm looking at myself. It really affected my confidence. And the thing is, comparing yourself to other women, that's the worst thing you can ever do. If there's something you're not happy with yourself, just find ways to improve. Never compare yourself with anybody. Anyways, I'm going to allow Siza. She's back. How are you? Can you hear me? Oh, you're muted.
To unmute.
Yes, I can hear you.
Finally,
Yeah, I can hear you.
unmuted. Yes, I am so sorry. Technological problems. Someone gave me a call and everything went crazy from there. So my name
Okay.
is Siza Makhaza. I think Metha has already said a little bit about me. I'm not sure how much she said. I'm so honored that you called me. It's just amazing. As a work in progress, I just feel really, really honored. So thank you for having me on your platform.
You are welcome. Thank you. And I kind of introduced you a little bit, but I just want to share a little bit before you start on why I felt the need to invite you. You know, this show is Inner and Outer Beauty. And for you, I see you are the full package. I see the inner beauty and the outer beauty. When I talk about the inner beauty about you, I see you in our women's group, the 263, the way you support other women, the way you just support other women, not just by commenting and liking, by actually purchasing. I'm not saying everybody should be purchasing from people to support them, but I'm saying this is what
You're
really connects
saying,
to you, your heart. You just giving, even the what you share, the stories. Stories, they are so empowering. So I'll leave this to you. I really want you to just introduce yourself and tell us who is Caesar. Like we know the Caesar we see right now, but who is Caesar? Like, where did she come from? What made you to be the way you are?
okay. I'm not sure if people can hear me. I couldn't hear
Okay, it's freezing again. I could hear you okay, but now it's kind of frozen. Okay, thank you. I see they say they can hear you. Thank you for the feedback, ladies. Yeah, she's having
now.
some issues with the network. Hello, can
Not
you
sure
hear
if
me? Um, oh, okay. So, ladies, when I speak, are there any interruptions? Can you hear me properly? Because I hear a comment. It may. Oh, okay. So they can hear me. Thank you so much, ladies, for the feedback. Yes, I think Caesar's network is an issue. So while I'm waiting for her, I'll just continue with my story of as ladies, let's not compare ourselves to other women. If there are things we need to improve, let's work on that. When we improve ourselves, if we want to create a better version of us, let's do that, but without the comparing. Because once we start comparing ourselves with other women, that will bring jealousy, that will bring low self-esteem if you think she's better than you. And that can even breed hatred because you feel the other person is better than you. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, are you? She's back. Hello. Yeah, we can
I
see you
see
good.
someone says they can hear me well.
Oh, I
Okay.
had asked
I,
them if they could hear
I
me.
see someone says they can hear me well. Not hear Meta. She's breaking on and off.
Oh, you saw that?
So I guess, okay, I'll just give a little bit of a personal background. I'm the owner. Yes, so
Okay, so hold on. So Tayo, who?
breaking on and off. So I'm not even sure if you can hear me.
You are breaking off. So, ladies, I think there's a bit of confusion. Are you able to hear Caesar properly? So just comment yes, we can hear Caesar properly, so that we know if you can hear her, then I'll leave the floor to you so that you can tell us. Okay, so they can hear you properly. So it's my network, I think. So Caesar, you can take it from here. Tell us who you are, your passion. Okay. Hoping, yeah, she's disappeared again. So hopefully she's gonna come. Okay, so I'm just hoping she's gonna come back again because yeah, she disappeared. So I'm glad, ladies, you can hear her. So if she comes back, I'll allow her to just talk about who she is and what she does and why she's so passionate and what does she feel is her main mission in life. Okay, so before she comes, I'm just going to carry on with what I was saying about not comparing yourself. And another thing is, you know, as women or as people, we are on different chapters of our life. When I came to Canada, about when was that? 2006. What I went through, where I was going through, I would say I was, because I had recently moved to a new country. So I would say I was on chapter one. This was a new book. So I was on chapter one. So what I talk about chapter one is I was still trying to figure out some things, my career, where my life was going. Everything was so much, there was so much confusion. So I would call that my chapter one. And then there are some people who have figured out their career. They figured out what they want to do with the rest of their life, or at least they know what they want to do in the next 20 years of their lives. They figured everything. So I will call that maybe a chapter 10. So if I'm on chapter one and I'm trying to compare myself with somebody who's on chapter 10 of their life, that doesn't go very well. That doesn't go very well. So that's what I find. Okay, Caesar is here. Hey, Caesar. So they can hear you properly. I'll let you talk. First of all, who you are, your passion in life. We talked about how you love designing, how you love writing. So just share away. If I have any questions, I'll just ask, but feel free to just tell us who Caesar is. Hello. Okay. I think she's frozen again. Wow, time is moving so fast. It's now
Can hear me. I
21
hope you can
after.
hear me. So my name is Siza Makhaza. Love as time goes. I do remember the very first fabric I I do remember what it was, and built this incrementally. Industrial machine. My living room looked like a little factory, and as time went on, an opportunity to have a retail outlet came by, and I took that opportunity. Um, is everything perfect? No, it's not. But I am following my passion. I have a growing customer base, and also I continue to learn more and more about business. My education background business and study those hold great passion because I believe business is the way, entrepreneurship in general is the way out of poverty, and I feel like it's the gateway to expressing yourself and to being a great contributor to the community. If you are worrying about physiological needs, if you are set to lose your job, if you are having to make compromises that make you unable to practice who you are, then it's going to be very difficult to be there for other people. So entrepreneurship is something that I want to do and better as goes. We didn't get into who I am and what I am from the very beginning. I went with the mainstream, I went with what is expected, and I went with what is practical. So that whole process of looking for a job and doing what you're supposed to do, what is responsible, and being educated in in a field that's going to advance your adulthood, or at least what do they say? At least ensure that you are now adulting is what I did. I listened to a lot of advice, and it wasn't bad advice. It was building advice, but it was who I am. Had it been up to me, I would have had the bravery to go starting and designing school while I was in Zimbabwe. But there was always this misconception, or like this word that you do that when you cannot do academics. And so much as I would have just liked to just stick to that, I didn't. I went with the academics. I wasn't the brightest of people, but I was I was good at it. I did it well. And I grew older, I did it even better. Um, Now, when you're older and your mind is more focused and so forth, you can do pretty much anything. And I did everything that was supposed to lead my life to what it was supposed to be. But time went on, things went on, and I felt like I didn't know who I am. So someone asked me a question and said, if you had all the money in the world and all the resources available, what would you be? And I couldn't answer that question, you know, and it bothered me that I could not answer that question. So I took time out, a period of 2 years, to deal with that and go back and backtrack and see where I lost myself, you know. That's when I went back to the time when I was young, and I liked to sketch designs, and I liked to write and so forth. So basically, I went back as far as grade 5 and to remember who I naturally was without effort, you know, what I feel like my God given gifts. And so I went back to that, and I went up, and the way in which I had been lost over time made me feel off balance. It made me lose my confidence because I asked myself how I can start from such natural clarity to being totally lost and pursuing things, vigorous pursuing things that I didn't like, that had nothing to do with how I felt. And so I went through that process of rediscovering myself. I went through just looking at the things I had done, the sewing, the writing, and how it was always there in my life, but I never sought to monetize it. I sought to, I didn't fight for it. I won, but I never fought for it. And so that 2 years I took to undo all these things. And when I got to, say, level zero of that 2 years, the beginning, then it was like, what now? How are you going to do it? So for another maybe 3 years, I was battling with how to do it, how to transition from a whole life that you have set up, which doesn't support who you are, but supports your existence, supports your well-being. You cannot just throw it away and dump it. You need to find a way that you're going to live that artificial life and go to the life of. So there is a point that I reached and I said, if the Almighty called me today, what would I have to say to him? These gifts that he gave me, I never practiced. I went on and I spent years and years doing things that I had no feeling for, and that I had no passion for, and that did not enable me to help people, which is one of the greatest gifts that the Lord has given me. So at that point, I started literally fighting tooth and nail to do what I was coming and it's a long story. We can, if I speak about it in detail, I would have to take a very long time. So I can say the same for the writing. When I went back on it and it unfolded, and at different parts of my life, I wrote about different things, and I think it's a way of me making sense of the things that will be happening, but it's also a way of releasing my creative energy, which can get really, really pent up if I don't put it on paper. So there was that, and then when I was in university, I discovered that I also had the gift for academic writing. And how I discovered it, it's actually a funny story. I was taking a class. I think it had like 100 and something people. It was a business management class. And so I'm really not very vocal. I'm not, I don't speak. So I would sit in class, and it's a big class, and the professor didn't know me, I'm sure. And then one time he was giving out our research essay, right? And and then he gave them out, and then in the end he says, "Who is Siza Makhaza?" So I put up my hand, and then he just laughed and he laughed and he laughed. And I was wondering what that was about. I said, oh my goodness, what is it? Is it that bad? And then he said, "You're such a little person and you write so big." Now, the writing and the research, I always enjoyed, and I always felt like I am, good at it, but I didn't know how good I was until he made that comment. and then it happened again in another class. I was like, okay, this is good. I like this. I like writing. I'm not thinking too much about it. And then it happened again in another class. And now the same professor, different class, and now he knew me. So he says, again, it was another essay, research essay. And then he says to me, I don't know whether to give you 0 out of 20 or 20. And he says, you totally missed the point, but you argued it perfectly, along with, the support of academic documents and, you know, uh, uh, all sorts of academic uh, papers to support my wrong assumption. So that's when I said, okay, I think I am really, really super good at the academic stuff. Later on, to when I was in Canada, when I was in Concordia doing women's studies, which is basically feminist studies, which is why the reason I did it is because of my passion of working and helping women. I do work a little bit with the YWCA here in Canada. So it was because of that passion that I pursued women's studies. It was not only self understanding, and it's a whole lot more than what people assume. Feminist studies is not just teaching men. We would not pay tuition to do that. We can do that for free. you know it's very, very heavy. It looks at a lot of stuff about discrimination. It looks at all sorts of stuff about inequalities of all sorts. So it's not just about this 50-50 thing that people talk about. Actually, 50-50 doesn't even feature in feminist studies. So when I was doing that, then I had people approaching me, asking me, okay, Caesar is good. Can you please edit my paper? Can you edit my paper? So I did make a little bit of a business out of that, helping people out with their papers. But it was time consuming. And, I find that if somebody's paper is really, really bad, then it takes time to help them out. So I did enjoy that. But I had to put that to rest. So, I mean, the writing continues. And at each time, when it comes to the creative writing part of it, is making sense of things that happen in life, that happen to people that I hear about, that I think about, that I've experienced and other people have experienced. So I really enjoy doing that. Now, this all sounds like I have my things in place. I told the part about the business, and I talked about the part that has to do with the writing. But the great of that is it's taken a lot of fortitude and a lot of resilience on my part to do that. Those who know me know that this is just celebrating what is progressive, in my life. But there's been a lot of challenges at the back, and this is like we say, the title is what, the beauty born of fortitude and resilience. It's that beauty which sustains you, the beauty of who you are, the beauty of coming through after a tough time. I mean, I did sort of note a little bit about fortitude. So it says fortitude involves practicing what is good and just when it is difficult or even dangerous. I have been in those situations, not one particular situation at some point in my life, throughout my life, from sexual abuse when I was very little, which, if anyone from my family watches, we don't. But there was sexual abuse when I was very little. We had a complicated upbringing. I know our parents did their best, and they gave it all they could give. But we did have a complicated upbringing. And I got older, broken, And I was just fighting not to be broken, but not taking time to heal because I didn't know how to. You know, when the balls are in the sky when you're juggling, and the balls are up in the air, and they are coming and crashing, but instead of waiting for them to crash and sort out and trying to catch them in the air, but you cannot. That's what I was doing because I didn't know what to do with them once they hit the ground, you know? And they did hit the ground at some point. When they hit the ground, that was the point when I did that 2-year thing and I said, who was I? Where was I going in the first place? So that's the fortitude part of it, going for what is right and trying to do what is right and good even when it's difficult and it's dangerous. I was in relationships that were not healthy for me, that were not right for me, and it took me time to undo that. It left my confidence shattered, and I had to fight back to get myself back. I went to see a psychosocial therapist. I had, I had all sorts of support. Some I'll not mention because it involves legal matters as well, fighting for what is right. So it's not just what I gave in the beginning, the business and the creativity and all that. That is me. But what makes me go and keep going is fortitude and resilience. And I think everybody has their own way of achieving that. But for me, I find that what keeps me grounded is knowing that how I am, seeing as I have established that it was given to me naturally, is all because of what the Almighty gave to me. So that you cannot take. You cannot take that. So if anything is happening, what I always try to do is never to let that be taken away, never to allow what I'm dealing with to take up more hours than necessary, never to make it become the main thing. Now, do I always manage to do that well? No, I don't. Sometimes it overwhelms me, it swallows me, but only for a moment. Only for a moment. I make sure that I get back to myself. And then also, I practice mindfulness so that I don't dwell in the past and too much in the future. The future is important. You plan it. Once you plan it, then you start to execute. You don't have to sit and think about it all the time. You have to take the steps to get there, and that's the present time. So that's what you do. That's what I do in the present time. And then also the support. Sometimes people support me and they don't know it. Strong women support me a lot. They keep me focused. I learn from them. And when I do reach out, which is not often because I'm not that way inclined, but when I do reach out, I can honestly say there's never been a time where I've never been enriched. And sometimes the groups that we get into, the lives that we see, it's all part of keeping me going and not allowing me to give up what I am doing. There is challenges. We know there's COVID. It has come with some surprises in opportunities, but also some surprises in operations. And I just work with each day and just make sure the one day is better than the next day is better than the day before. And there's one more thing that has been done in the next day, at least, if not more than that. So that's just what it is. It's not you. There is nothing perfect. I don't know if some people have things going perfectly, but I pretty much or almost all the time have the amazing things happening along with the challenges, but I don't allow the challenges to keep me down forever. So basically, well, I mean, there could be more, but I was late and I had problems with
No, that's
technical
okay.
part, so I'm just going to there.
No, that's okay. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear
Can
you
you hear me?
finally.
Yeah, I muted myself. You know what? I was just like, wow. You know, sometimes we see people on Facebook, we chat with them and we think we know them. And then we realize we don't know half of it. So what you were sharing for me was like, wow, really, really? Was really some surprising and most of them very inspiring. But what I wanted to talk about was you mentioned about the lives that they are beneficial. And I see lots of people doing Facebook lives, right? And I'm pretty sure there are some people who got discouraged because they didn't get a lot of audience or they didn't get a lot of likes. But what you say to me was like, wow, people might not always comment on your stuff, might not always message you about your Facebook Live. They might not be watching a lot, but there's that one person who's really getting a lot out of it. So for me, when you say that, I was like, oh, it was really empowering.
Yes,
I remember,
absolutely. And
yeah. No, go ahead.
sorry. Yes, and I was going to say that sometimes people don't comment because what you're saying is too, it feels personal, or they're kind of a private person, or it's too raw to put out there, you know. So it's not. I mean, I am glad you do the videos that you do. You are, by the way, one of the people who inspire me the most. You are consistent. You are strong. You have direction, and we feel it. We feel your inside showing out. So you, it's not just looking at your outer beauty. You're always nicely put together, but we see your, I see your, I'll speak for myself. My God, this business of saying we, I see your inside, you know
Oh, thank
and
you.
I always appreciate. I always appreciate. I always appreciate that. And you know what the key thing, the key issue is. There is a lot of things that many people say and do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is scripted. Okay, it's kind of like a child who is stage trained to perform. They know where to stand, they know what to do, they know what emotions to play, but you can always
Um,
tell when the heart is absent. And so, what I find remarkable about you is that your heart is always present. That's why I say you are one of the most influential
oh, thank you.
and inspirational people to me, people who inspire me a lot.
Thank you. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I wasn't actually, but I truly am so thankful. Actually, I'm so thankful to call you a friend because there are some people you look at their heart, you are like, wow, they don't even really know you, but their heart is just so big. They just want to embrace everybody and want everyone to succeed. And you are one of those persons. So what are we gonna do, Caesar? I'm gonna need to call you back another day because from what you were talking, I got a lot and
Thank
I really wanted
but
to ask questions and to comment and just to get more into it. But because of our time, so will it be okay for me to invite you again? Because I want to hear more about the writing. Are we expecting a book? The editing you were doing? Are you planning to revisit and become an editor? Like those things, I'm gonna need to bring you back.
yes,
Yes.
I'd love to come back. I'd
Okay.
love
So I
to
will.
come
We
back.
will
And
chat
like I said,
privately, and
for
then
the
we can see when you can. Yes. So thank you so much. And I've written down some of the things we're talking about. So when we meet next time here, I'm gonna revisit so that you can get more into details if you're okay with it. We're not gonna get into too
Yes,
personal,
I'm
but
totally
want
fine.
to yes. So I'm really excited that I'm gonna need to call you back. You've been so inspiring. And if you are watching, if you wanna follow her. Her name is Caesar. And actually, I think the media team, I think they will do a blog about you. I will talk to
Okay.
T.
Wow.
And, yes, because that's what we did last time with our Andre, who was our guest. T surprised me with this blog. I was like, wow, she has gone above and beyond. And also, I want to thank the Ladies Corner Media for this opportunity for me to come here and invite my friends so that they can share what they are doing and how they are impacting other people's lives. So, any closing remarks before we say goodbye or we say see you later? Go ahead.
Well, you know what? All I can say is just be you and the rest will follow. Be you. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It just means it's going to be as hard as not being you, except you will be yourself. So why not just be yourself? Um, Work through your challenges. Don't let them pull you down. Work through them, and just be strong. That's it. Being
Yes.
strong, it doesn't mean like losing sensitivity for things and so forth, or not showing your emotion. Show it, give it time, and then just get up
Yeah.
and go. Getting up and going is getting up and going. There's nothing special to it. You just get up and you go. And so just that. Just authentically fight for yourself. That's it. That's all.
Thank you. Well said. And sometimes, like what you're saying, yeah, you allow your emotions to do what it wants to do, but get after that, get up and go. I really like that. And some of the strategies are, I find the shower is another place to go and vent. You can cry in the shower, let your tears go.
Yes.
You can like scream and just complain. And then after the shower, it's like, yeah, I'm done. Now you get up and go and crash some goals and just continue with life. So thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. And I look forward to having you next time. I will message you so that we can agree on when you can come. Thank you so much, Caesar. And I'm not sure if you are in the Ladies Corner group. If you are not, we'll send you an invite so you can put your links. I know you've got this beautiful website where you sell some clothing that you did. And before we had talked that you were going to show a little bit of your stuff, but because of our time, we will do that
Yeah.
first thing when we meet next time. So, Caesar, thank you so much. Have an amazing night.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ladies Corner, Stream Media. Thank you, Mather Fox. You're amazing as usual. And for everybody who listened to this and who is going to listen later on, I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we can go. I'm not sure if T is around.